Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, Capricorn January 2021, Astrology Must Knows. Happy New Year, happy birthday. Welcome to this brand shiny new year full of radical change at dizzying speeds that are going to likely be faster than we can manage. Okay, so at least we have finally left the time when the planets in Capricorn have been assaulting you and really adding more pressure to the usual already pressured experience of Capricorn. Okay, so we're going to celebrate that. I'm celebrating that with you. We've got some things to watch out for this month, but let's talk about some things to celebrate first, okay? First, we're celebrating birthdays, or if you're watching for this video is for you if your sun is in Capricorn, if your moon is in Capricorn, my moon is in Capricorn too. If your rising is in Capricorn, or if you have other Cap placements that you watch for. And you would know more about this if you would just run a free birth chart online to see how many different placements in Capricorn and look at the degrees. That's the number next to them. I'm trying to coax you into using what I'm giving you. I put a lot into these videos every month, and the more you advance in deepening your work with astrology, the more you can utilize my videos because I go into these details that you can go deeper with. But in any case, this video is for you regardless of what your Cap placement is. And we do have the sun in your sign. Or moving over. And so we've got birthday wishes. For those of you who have other Cap placements, you're going to have the sun moving over your Cap placement, and that's going to bring light and vibrance and excitement and new potentials. There are also going to be a lot of chances for manifesting that material realm, which Capricorn is so famous for really focusing on, okay? So security and lots of earthy types of things, okay? Because even though we start the month out with Venus still in a fire sign, which can be a little bit annoying to Cap, with Mars still in Aries, which has been a major pain in the Cap's butt, okay? From August through now, Mars has been squaring Capricorn placements and being a super pain, okay? So that's going to be done, and Mars is going to, because Mars was in retrograde last year, that's why it spent an inordinate amount of time in Aries, but that aspect happens to be a difficult aspect for Capricorn. So we've been feeling that, you know, things moving against us. I mean, not just the general retrograde energy, but extra stuff, very personal stuff we're trying to do. So we're celebrating that Mars is moving into Taurus, and that is a fellow Earth sign. So now Mars is going to spend the next upcoming time making a beautiful aspect with your Capricorn placement, okay? And this month that is starting. So those of you in the earlier part, you'll feel it sooner. Those of you, you know, later in the sign, you'll feel it in the time to come. But major material gains. We've got the Sun and Mercury, soon to be Venus, and then soon to be Mars in Earth signs this month, okay? So that's really, really good for Capricorn, and that's really, really good for increasing security, which we're gonna need because there's so much change going on in the world that any place you can get a footing of something gelling for you, you're gonna be looking for it, okay? Now, I want to push off to a little aside here. Some of these, I have a list of January must-knows that I want to tie in here. But first, I just want to get through the birthday thing. Make sure you make your birthday wishes. Say them out loud. Feel them as if they've already come true. You can look for my video, Making Wishes Come True, on how to use your birthday wishes. But even if you're watching for a different placement than your sun, you still get extra zest for your intentions and what you're working on as the sun crosses over your placement, okay? So we've got wide open stars for the first half of the month. And so part of that, or actually the big majority of that, is coming from the fact that we're not going to have any planets in retrograde. All the planets that we look at, including most of the goddess asteroids, they're going to be moving direct. So the chance for momentum is crazy and dizzying, like I was saying. It's, you know, change at a very rapid speed. But there is a caveat to this, and I will go into this more later in the video. This is very, very critical for you to listen to the whole video because this Jupiter square Uranus aspect is an epic one, and I'm going to speak to it after we talk about my initial list of must-knows and my Capricorn specific things. But because of that aspect and because of some other things going on this month, there is a tendency towards zealotry. Okay, so this is very, very, very important to know, because while I'm telling you you've got open stars, meaning you can sign your contracts in the first half of the month, make your big, especially because Mercury is going to start to slide into retrograde in the second half. You can make your big decisions, make your moves, do all these things. And there will be a lot of new beginnings. There is going to be this tendency to not seeing clearly, taking things to excess, doing things up in a very extravagant way that could set you back, or you wiping a slate clean that you might wish you had some of. So a general recommendation, a must-know I'm making for this month, is in the situations where you have to choose between two things. If you can hold on to the old thing a little bit longer as the new thing gets solidified, you might find pieces in the old thing. Okay, and you might find that you keep both of those things. Okay, this is going to be different depending on what you're talking about. Some people are just going to have new beginnings. The old thing will be completely gone. And in some cases, you won't have any say in this. And if you don't have any say in it, don't worry about it, because it's not in your control. It's only the things where you have to make a choice that you might want to know that you might want to make a clean break with certain things and move, like step fully into something, but you might wish you had some of those pieces of what you're trying to break free from. And you might want to have a little more discernment with that boundary setting process, okay? All right, so some other things, you're going to have more eclipse news coming in still from the November, December eclipses. Eclipse season is long and it's ongoing. And as Venus crosses over the ecliptic point on January 4th, more news is going to come in. Mercury and Pluto make a conjunction, powerful news. This month is very much about powerful news coming in. A lot of powerful news coming in. And it's going to be very life-changing for very many people. But it does have miracle potentials as well, okay? So there is going to be a lot of anxiety, a lot of restlessness, a lot of feeling like your finger's stuck in an electric socket this month, but you will be able to break out of a lot of things that are problems. And I'll go into more details about how to apply, where to break free or where to apply your zealotry later on. Okay, so you definitely want to take extra care all month because of the clashes between Mars and Jupiter and Saturn and Uranus. These planets are making difficult aspects with each other. There are some sweet ones rolled in there too as well. There are definitely sweet spots this month. But because it's so notable with the challenging aspects of these planets, it's really important for you to just really be careful. I've issued these, we'll call it a warning, in months prior, with Mars retrograde. I talked about it in August, I talked about it in October. There were some really nasty aspects, and we've got a few of those this month. So you want to be extra careful when you go to talk to somebody about things, when you go to do something. If somebody's on edge, you don't want to antagonize them. Trying to, if you need a mediator, having an email dialogue instead of an in-person chat, being extra careful while driving, all of those things are very, very big must-knows at this time. Even like climatic things, anything having to do with weather or earth changes, like there's just a lot of volatility right now, and you'll want to dance and maneuver your way around it because it's going to be there, and you can protect yourself if you're doing that. Okay, so some of the clashes are going to take place in your home and family and real estate sector. Okay, so look out for things that are important in that sector. And Mars is also moving through that sector. So, buying homes, selling homes, things like that. A lot of that's going to be very busy, as well as changing around of family things and family topics. Okay. Something else that's key to know is, and this is a must-know specific for Capricorn, is that transiting North Node is calling you to focus on your health. And at the same time, you've got a massively full first house. We can find health things in any planet, in any placement in the chart. Health things can come up. But there are two houses where it's especially focused, the first house and the sixth house. You guys have the North Node influencing that, which is your highest expression this lifetime. So there are some very important keys of stress management, health, nutrition, healing, things like that are very critical for you. Oh, also pets. If you have to get a pet, the first half of the month is more supportive for long-term pet focus, because once we go into Mercury retrograde, things can get a little bit, less certain and sure. So in any case, this first and sixth house, and your first house is so full. It's just like there's so much going on there. And that's for, all of you. Actually, this is true for all of you who are in the early, middle, and late degree placements. Okay, so that means no matter where your birthday is in the Cap profile, this is true for you. Okay, so late degree, it's full, middle, yep, all of you. So the first house is about your relationship to your physical body. A lot of times Capricorns have a ton of responsibility. We are born into it in many cases. I'm saying we because my moon is in Capricorn. It's in the house of Capricorn. My Venus is in Capricorn. So, I'm in this experience with you. Very, very, very personal to me. And the first house is about like your physical structures. And so the breakdown over time of your physical structures, from whether it's doing hard physical labor, or whether it's shouldering too many responsibilities, or whether it's not practicing stress management, or, missing your checkups, or, not meditating, not minding your diet, all of those things, they start to catch up over time. And you might be noticing that. And if you're not noticing it, now is a good time to try to head some of that off. As powerful as you are, and as much as you can carry, and I know that it is quite a bit, it is affecting you, even if you're out of touch with how much it's affecting you. Okay, so this month is a month to really start to tune in, to ask those questions. How could you better support yourself? And some practical things could be like buying some good orthopedic shoes, or some sneakers that, if you're focused on fashion, you can still find shoes that have good arch support. And there are even ones that are focused on like Earth shoes. They're a great eco-friendly brand. They focus on alignment of your physical body while still minding the environment as well. So things like that, where you're taking some small steps that could turn out to be a big deal, in favor of supporting your physicality, even if it's monthly massage, getting into meditation, getting a physical, a trainer, some kind of trainer, something, anything. This month is just so chock full of opportunities. And this is a long-term story that's being brought up in the short-term extra right now. Okay, so those are major must-knows for Capricorn. Okay, so you all still have some nuisance energy with Aries. Okay, so we talked about how Mars was moving through Aries and it's been a pain. Well, Chiron is moving through Aries in a long-term way. And this is annoying to all Capricorn placements, but it's especially been affecting December born. Okay, so December born, there's something very specific about your woundedness, of things that is like your deep wound that has been like getting salt stuck in it. Okay, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about, because when things involving Chiron are coming up, you really notice them, because you might even start to feel sorry for yourself. And if ever there were a sign that doesn't really feel sorry for themselves, they just like say, well, that's how it is, let's just work it out, right? We'll just do more work, and you don't really have time to feel sorry for yourself. Capricorn people are not people that are really lost in the victim mentality for the most part, because there's just too much work to do to participate in that. But this Chiron aspect that's been going on for the December born or early degree placements, and the closer to 5 degrees that you have your Capricorn placement, the more this is current right now. This is assaulting your, and it really feels like an assault, your Capricorn placement. Okay, so you're going to be feeling this. But the good news about it is that you have chance to make that woundedness into something beneficial. So, like for instance, let's say somebody has some health issues, and that's a point of woundedness for them. They've been struggling with that for their life. They can wind up helping other people with the things they learned from their health issues. That's like a positive chironic storyline. It's just an example, and this can happen with anything. So that woundedness, that thing that you have that really just gets you in the gut, this is a time when you can be converting that into something positive. It's just going to take a little bit of work, and it is flaring more for the December born, but it's coming more for the, the rest of you. Okay. All right. So let's see. So the basic summary is major material gains this month is possibilities. Major opportunities for tedious projects. I didn't mention this before. If you have something really tedious, like wanting to get a leg up on your taxes, I don't know about you, but my Capricorn energy makes me like do my taxes super early, and I'm always like have all my ducks in a row, and I like to use this time when the personal planets are in Capricorn to focus on things like that. So you can do that if you've got some other big project, or again, if you're trying to lose weight or build muscle or something that is like more physically laborious. You're going to have a lot of extra discipline this month. So that's definitely something to celebrate. Okay, so let's get down into the nitty-gritty of understanding this Jupiter square Uranus aspect. Unlike the upcoming in February Saturn square Uranus aspect, we're only going to have one of these Jupiter-Uranus aspects this year. The Saturn one will have 3 times, and we'll talk about that more next month. That's going to be a very big deal too. But it's important to understand, like, there are must-knows about this transit because it is a biggie. Whenever the outer planets come in close connection, or exact connection in this case, it definitely brings notable things globally down to the individual level, okay? So the first must know here is that you will feel very anxious, okay? The energy of Uranus really rules like the nervous system in some ways. So it's like when there's an aspect with Uranus, we often feel like our fingers stuck in an electric socket. And so the anxiety levels run super high, and those are going to have to be managed. So you just need to know that going into this month, even though we've already had, a long series of that going on, this month is going to be like that as well, okay? The second thing is that even though, as I mentioned earlier, since all the planets are moving forward, it is a good time to move forward and to make decisions and to do important things, especially in the first half of January before Mercury starts to slide into its retrograde process. But there's a caution here with the Jupiter square Uranus because people can feel really, really, really compelled to do crazy things. And some of those, if there's like a calculated risk involved, could turn out really well. But there could be an interference with the discernment process of figuring out what those things are. So like extravagance, erratic behavior, because Jupiter rules excess. So like big purchases, big commitments, big, trying to cut something off or big decisions about like kind of making a clean slate, a clean cut, and then moving forward, like trying to cut ties completely. There is some caution with that. So even though the stars are moving forward and it is good to make these big decisions in some ways, if you can leave your lifeline intact, if you can leave an option, for holding on to some of the old stuff until you can see how the new stuff shakes out, because you might wish you had some of that stuff to go back to, that's a very, very major must know for this aspect. If you've got that option to like wait a little bit until the tensions aren't as high, wait a little bit to see if you can find a bridge option that includes both of the things that might be in question. It's just can be a little bit sketchy making a clean cut at this time with this aspect. People are also very, receptive to other people's intentions. So whether it's on your personal level with somebody close to you, or whether it's in a level of like a leader or a religious leader or a political leader trying to exert or say things, people are going to be very open to suggestion at this time with this aspect. And actually, there are known cult leaders that have had this aspect in their natal charts, like the capacity to woo somebody over into something that seems so exciting, like it's going to solve all the problems. Just be very wary of anyone or anything that says, now all your problems are going to be gone if you do this thing, unless it's something that's low stakes, low commitment, has protections in order, isn't like one of those big clean cut where you're just like completely separating. You know, if it's something that seems reasonable, and maybe you might not even know if it's reasonable, that's the difficulty. You know, I would say have like people that you trust to cross-reference before you do anything crazy with this aspect, okay? So, let me see what else I wanted to tell you about this. So the energy of rebellion is going to be very strong because of the planet Uranus ruling Aquarius, and now Jupiter's in Aquarius and Saturn's in Aquarius, and then we've got these aspects with Uranus, which rules Aquarius, you know, so it's like the energy of like being a rebel, breaking free is going to be very strong, and you will be able. That's one of the very plus sides of this aspect, even though it is a challenging aspect, we could call it, it's a point of tension. You can break free of things that were shackling you. But the more you direct the breaking of the shackles to things like clearing up addictions, clearing up debt, clearing up, you know, overspending, like clearing up bad habits, the more you can be more sure that it's going to be a good thing what you think that you are breaking free from, okay? Because breaking free for the sake of itself might seem very alluring at this time, and people could make some rash decisions that they later regret. So a lot of caution and care has to be given. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, so there, you know, along with this can also come like impatience, because you're wanting to make it happen, and you know, towards the middle of the month and things might start slowing down again, or, you know, here I'm telling you, like, take a little caution when you move forward. So there could be some of this like frustration with not feeling clear about something. But if you don't feel super clear about something, then definitely I would suggest waiting it out a little longer. The energies will be much more clear in March and April for trying to make some big decisions again, in the event that you're not completely clear at this time. Some other things about Jupiter squaring Uranus are, first of all, that it may coincide with major trajectory changes. And this is an interesting topic now because we've just come out of eclipse season, and we're still kind of getting some leftover things from the November, December eclipses, which definitely are trajectory changing and can really set people on a completely different course. And this aspect does the same thing. So it's very kind of eclipse reminder like in that way, where it's, you know, you could see something come, and if it's coming out of your control and you can't do anything about it, then your choice is to clear up the resistance and accept it, or look for possible solutions or ways around it. And if those can't be found, then, you know, to try to regain your peace on the topic. But it does often coincide with very dramatic life changes, and also changes in fortune. So people may make a bunch of money and all of a sudden be rich. People may lose a bunch of money and all of a sudden, you know, have a reversal of their financial situation. So those types of things can happen. An analogy that I've been thinking of for this aspect has to do with those stories we hear about certain people who have become famous too fast, or become famous too young, or become successful too young or too fast, or just too plain successful and famous, right? Sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is true for all people who are successful or famous, obviously, but there are many people we've heard of that have just not been able to handle that level of change and that extreme change, or that extreme experience, and it has burnt them up. And this energy is very much like that. So many people might be thrown into the spotlight, thrown into fame, thrown into fortune, or thrown into not fortune, you know, just like a big change. But a lot of it can be very positive, like, you know, you get your dream that you worked for, but you need some help and support managing the openness that comes with it. Sometimes this aspect can bring too much freedom and too many options, and the confusion that comes from those things, you know. So definitely, if you're in a position like this where something like this occurs, remember what I said, so that you can seek out support to help you stay grounded and help you stay centered and help you make good choices during the major changes. Because zealotry is another word that I'm using to describe what this energy can bring. And even though the aspect is happening on the 17th of January, this is a big one. So we're feeling this, you know, even a month or more before it's starting to build, and we'll feel it after. It'll flow after. It's like, it's a big one. We're not going to feel it just on the day and the week of this. This is a trend that's kind of building in our subconscious. It's making itself more external the closer we get to the middle of January, and then it's present all through January. Really, this is strong, and then it will start to fade out, you know, into February and into the beginning of March. Then that cycle will be complete with this particular aspect, but it is much more longer lived, and it can create very permanent effects as well, depending on the decisions made. So just be excited if your life is expanding in wonderful ways, but just keep your center and be very cautious with the decisions that you make, understanding all of these pieces now. Okay, so I know I've given you a lot to digest here. If you would like to have even more information on how you can understand and utilize the energies at play from the planetary perspective, then go to anniehelpsyou.com. There you'll see lots of blogs that I've written on astrology and other topics, but there you can also sign up for my free email newsletter. And with that, you will get delivered into your inbox 1 month early my written report of the sweet and salty aspects and their dates and what you can expect from them, as well as my general write-up of the month in a written version so that you can go back over it and digest it. So it's not a transcript of these videos, but it is a summary and some more details about the general energies at play. Okay, so you can get that at anniehelpsyou.com, and you'll also receive my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free as a member of my email community. Okay, so all that's at anniehelpsyou.com. Then you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, and you'll see my written horoscopes up 1 month early, as well as book recommendations for each sign for each month, depending on the sun, where the sun is for each sign, plus healthy lifestyle and spiritual lifestyle blogs on there. It's a beautiful site. You will love it. So you can check that out, cozybysweetstarlight.com. Definitely also go to my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. I've got free courses there on health and wellness, also on increasing your abundance. You can see those free courses, and you can see my paid course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. If you think I put a lot into the free resources that I give you every month, you should see what I do for the paid resources. It is quite crazy comprehensive, and it will equip you to do whatever you'd like to do in astrology, whether it's just for your own self-development and helping your family and friends, or if you'd like to include it in part of a professional offering, or just do astrology as your work. I will teach you what you need to know to do that. So you can see all of that there. And very exciting, it's definitely time to get my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. It's out officially on December 8th of 2020. You can pre-order it before then, and you can find it on Audible. It's on Kindle. It's in a print version. It's on Barnes & Noble Nook. It's a beautiful hardcover reference book that you'll go back to time and time again. All of the Books A Million stores and all of the Barnes & Noble stores in the entire US has ordered copies of this book. So you should be able to walk in and get it unless somebody's bought them already. But you can also order them on Amazon and at independent booksellers, many independent booksellers worldwide, and also some big booksellers worldwide have also stocked this book. So you can find it pretty much anywhere. So you can see that, more of that, by just searching for Planetology and my name. And I hope you have a wonderful month. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next month. Bye.